This is Unspoken, where we get to talk about things that ordinarily our guests wouldn't want to share. Things that shaped who they are today, but if they are given opportunity to go back in time, they could change those things. Unspoken is that intimate conversation where our guests are willing to just share, not just to tell stories, but to help inspire and maybe get us to do things differently. On today's episode, I have someone that I have so much respect for. Someone I grew up admiring. I know I've not told him that before, and he may not believe because he hears me tell that to his colleagues, but he doesn't know that I also admire them. Maybe because I ventured a bit into sports, and so I looked up to him and his brother. But getting to be a bit close to him, I realized that he has so many stories that sometimes he doesn't even know when he tells those stories. And I feel like he would be a fantastic, I don't want to use the word candidate because it sounds very political, but he's a fantastic, personality to groom this younger generation, our younger generation, and hopefully also parents. So this is a show that will appeal to not just the youth, but also the parents. We will go on a short break. When we come back, I would introduce my guest. And I bet you don't want to touch or change this style. Sit tight. Welcome. This is Unspoken. Today I have with me, like I said earlier, someone I respect so much. Part of why I respect him is his heart to give back to other people. His heart of not one is not about him. He keeps saying I'm not driven by money. I just want to make sure I help other people. And I believe that's also one of the things that qualifies him to sit on this, this other side with me to have this conversation. I call him the Godfather. I love to just stay at the Godfather, but just for the sake of our audience, his name is, will I call Honorable or Mr. Emmanuel Babayaro? Which one do you prefer, Honorable or?
Well, I've always been honorable since I was a
Fantastic.
kid, but my name is Emmanuel Babayaro. That's much better.
Good
The
to have you
Godfather
here.
is
The
even
Godfather
better.
is exactly. I stick with the Godfather. Good to have you here.
But there should have been some drum rolling, like
Since we don't have a drum roll, we can take the tea.
I don't know, man. I don't trust this your tea. This is UTVT, guys. It's like a lie detector test. It brings out the truth in you. All right. I want to speak the truth, so I probably might.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If I start speaking a foreign language, you know the reason.
Put it on this.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
UTV.
I know you're equal to the tax. Mr. Emmanuel Babayaro, the Godfather.
Can I start with one unspoken?
Okay.
Before you go on.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am absolutely.
Oh, girl, when I see you, my heart stops. Every man, them, they feel you. Now you they top, you're the center of attraction. Baby, no be lie, and my steps your direction. Girl, I no go shy.
See how I'm blushing?
That is unspoken. I never said anything.
You danced something. You sang something.
It's unspoken.
We didn't know that you are not just, a goalkeeper. You're also absolutely
This
fantastic.
says the Godfather, man. What do you expect? You know what I mean?
I mean, that sounds good. You did good. Okay, thank you. I didn't hear anything, actually.
No, I didn't. It's unspoken. It's unspoken.
Okay, I'm going to start with the first question.
Please.
Tell us some of the unspoken things that a lot of people don't know about Emmanuel Babayaro.
There's actually quite a lot of them, because with all due respect, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, things I should have done differently, like you mentioned. I live with it every day of my life, but to the glory of God, I think I found a way of healing from it as well, which probably I might share on this particular program. I think one of them in my opinion, and the strongest of them all was never listening to my wife. I think I should have listened more. I loved her more than I love any other human being on earth, including my own family. She was my best friend. She was my life. She was everything. But always, I was always that manly kind of thing. Some of the things she would want to tell me or advise me, especially financial advices, I always felt I was better. And then only when she'd left that it started dawning on me that she was always right and I was wrong. So I wished I had listened more to my wife. I'm a very good listener, but on a romantic level, say women love listening man,
Yeah.
a man that listens. So I do that, but to get what I want, right? But when it comes to the domestic thing now, the serious family things, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I wish I had listened more. Um, in my sports, I would say I wish I'd been as disciplined as a sportsman like my younger brother Celestine was, which is the reason why he got to the pinnacle, and I got to where I got to. I should have been, because today I think if I'd done things differently, I probably would have been the greatest goalkeeper in the world. Surely it was predicted not by me, but by the foreign media, by an international coach of repute from Holland, to be precise. When he saw me for the first time, he said, "This is going to be the best goalkeeper in the world." But I never was because I wasn't that disciplined. I wish I was a better disciplined person, which helps to put more this thing to source to what we've always preached these days, that talent is not enough. I felt I was that talented. I was the best. I was the best. Simple and short. Nobody comes close. But talent was not enough. I wasn't that disciplined. If I was, I probably would have been the best goalkeeper in the world. And I wished also. Well, it still falls in line with discipline because sometimes because I'm a very outspoken kind of person. I see myself as an activist, an advocate, whatever you want to call it, at that very young age. But then I handle it the wrong way. I thought being an activist means standing up to the authority and talking boldly and loudly, sometimes even over them, not knowing as a youngster talking to an older person, that is also counterproductive. It becomes rude.
Sure.
You understand? Because I had that one incident at the Olympics, with Joe Bonfrey, the coach of the national team. The very morning we were to play our first game, I was number one, undoubtedly. And then right up to the Olympics, right up to the first day of the games, the friendly matches we played, it was all me. And then the morning of the match, before our first game, he calls me to his room. And I mean, knowing what I know now, especially as an adult, where your brain is formed even stronger and better, your perspective about life changes, you understand things better. The man gave me good respect. He gave me my onions, and then he called me to the room and he says to me, "Listen, I know you are the best. There's no doubt about that. You're still the best. You're my number one, and I have great respect for you. In fact, what I'm doing right now is what I've never done because I don't even have to. I'm the coach. I'm the manager. I decide what I decide. I don't owe anybody an explanation. But I felt that I need to explain something to you. I am making a tactical play. It's our first Olympic game, and I'm making a tactical play. And I think I want to keep you on the bench and let those who start the game." And then I looked at him, the activist man comes.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, "But I thought the criteria for being on the pitch is being the best, being number one.
Yes,
I thought being number one guarantees me a spot." And all.
Yes.
He says to me, "Listen, can you just please accept my explanation? And like I told you, I don't even have to explain to you, but I respect you and all that." And then I flared up. With all due respect, I regret it now. Like I regret it like big time, like biggest time, because that was the beginning of the end of my dream.
Wow.
Yes. I got livid and then I shouted him down, insulted him, and walked out of the room. And what that did was strengthened his resolve as a coach to say, "Okay, let me see what he will do. To hell with him." I'll tell you this funny thing. There's a very famous man, Emmanuel Maradas. Everybody knows him within the sporting sphere. I think at that time, he was working with, is it Football Africa, one of these top African football magazine or something. He was one of the top journalists from Africa, but based in Europe at the time. Emmanuel Maradas, I mention his name because he's alive
Yeah,
and he can
yeah.
always corroborate or not. You understand? Emmanuel Maradas, while the Olympics was going on, sometimes at halftime, he will come because we come through this place like a tunnel before we come. So there's this overhead kind of like a bridge-like thing stand where people can come over to see us walking.
Yeah.
Emmanuel will come there whenever we're going. He'll be speaking to me in house. He'll be like, "Can you please just apologize? There's a club here, £2 million to sign you. Just apologize to this man so that his heart will be softened, so you can get into the pitch and sign your contract." But I was feeling, arrogant, young man, and as at that time, I was the man, I mean, that's what I thought, I'm the man. Why would I apologize? He's the one who, and you see the catch here? In my head, I'm like, he's the one who's done wrong.
Exactly.
Why would I apologize?
Oh my God.
That was the beginning of my end, so that's one of those unspoken words. It's hard hitting, but it's one of them. It's one of them, definitely one of the, because probably that's the reason why I never was the best in the world, because that was where my dream started derailing. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. My dream started derailing, and like I said, I've got quite a number of them, but for the sake of your program, or else it will last for hours on end. Maybe I can leave it at that three for now. I would have listened more to my wife. I would have loved her better, with more intent and respect, mutually, and then I would have done things. I would have been a more disciplined player, and more hardworking player. I never was. I was just that too good, so I never saw any reason to be that hardworking. I'll tell you one very funny laughter incident. You will laugh about it. I laugh about it now, and I use it to feel good, to actually accentuate how good I was as a player. When we played the Olympics qualifier against Egypt, which was our toughest game before the Olympics itself, because at that time the Egyptian national team was unbeaten.
Yeah.
They had more than, I'm not too sure, but probably over 30 games unbeaten. They were that good. That team was vintage. They were destroying everybody. I think their coach then was, is this something Kroll or something? They were beating everybody. They were that good, We played them in Lagos. We beat them 3-2. It took the grace of God, and God blessed me. Probably if God did not bless me to make those saves, I think probably Egypt would have beaten us that day, probably with about 6, 7, 8 goals.
Wow.
Yeah, because I saved one-on-one situation. That's why some people regard me today as the best Nigerian goalkeeper 1v1. That's one-on-one.
Yeah.
Because I saved close to about 5 one-on-ones on that day, one-on-one, and I
Just
saved
one
them all.
game.
Yeah, in just that one game, So they were that tough, and then we were to go to Egypt. Now, before going to Egypt, I had traveled to the UK. And then while every other person was training, we met to play that game. When I came to the UK, football, when we're training, everybody's looking fit. And how do you know a footballer is looking fit? You see the cheekbones will come out, everywhere is in, and, so everybody came, everybody was looking like that.
Well,
and here is Emmanuel comes, his cheeks are all out and all that. I will never forget that day. I think Garba Lawa was even the first, because we are family. Garba is my brother. We come from the same place in Kaduna, grew up at the same time. So we tell each other the truth. We don't hide nothing. So the first time, I think Garba was the first. When I came, he was like, "K," Garba stammers a little bit. K, number there, can I training kwa? Asking, are you sure you're training? Everything is out and all that. But guess what? Apparently, some members of the team went to protest to the coaches that no, this guy shouldn't be in our goal, because it's obvious he's not been training. Look at his cheek, everything is out and all that. But the coach then, God rest his soul, Coach Bazwaye, Willie Bazwaye, he's a very practical man. He says to them, this is our most important game. This match determines whether or not we go to the Olympics. And you guys know how good this team is. You saw what they did to us in Lagos. We escaped by the Whiskers. And now we are in their own ground, playing on their own day in front of their own fans. Even I understand their prime minister is coming. And you guys think we don't need Emmanuel in goal. I think for me, we still need Emmanuel in goal. I didn't know this thing, but these things came out. And I'll tell you how it came out. Coach Bazwaye is that comical man. He likes to have fun. He likes to make fun. I understand he used to be a former police officer. So he likes he gesticulates when he's talking to you. He's a very practical man. So how does this truth come out? Apparently, he now told us, okay, you know what? in our training today, I'll make a test. That test will determine if he's still strong enough to be in goal or not. Now, it was so strange that we have an international game to play and then we trained, and after training, he decided there must be a shooting exercise. And that shooting is a bit dangerous before a major game, because you could be doing flying full length and get injured and all that stuff. You don't want to play at that intensity until the game. But he did that day, apparently,
just to
for my sake, yeah. So, of course, other keepers were in goal, When I got in, that's how I got to know about this thing, because what happened there was the reason I had to ask one of the other coaches, the assistants, who was my good friend, to ask, but why was coach doing all that, That was when he now told me everything that happened. Now, what happened was, when it was my turn, when they shoot and I fly, I save them. You go see Coach Bazai would just turn and say, I know tell you now.
I told you.
Anything I do, he go say, he does that. He will like, I know talk him. So it was later I found out that's what happened.
And you were wondering, okay, what's going on here?
I had to now ask one of the assistant coaches who were my friend, who now explained this was what happened. And that training was actually a test to see, and then you aced it.
Fantastic.
It's a feel-good story, but with all due respect, it was part of the disease that was eating me up, that was going to culminate into my destruction. Because I thought I was that good. Wow. I don't have to train that much. I don't have to be that disciplined. I was just that good. I'm the best. But it's not enough. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's one of the unspoken.
Wow. I mean, I guess I told you guys that Unspoken is going to be as real and raw as you can get it. Thank you.
Any other guest? Do I say run from the tea if you don't want to speak more than you should? Because I think this UTV
is working.
Has something, eh?
Thank you, you've been amazing. And I know that, a lot of people are listening and they are learning. When you talk about discipline, and you mentioned it earlier that talent is not enough. I think it's one of the biggest issues we have with our younger generation.
Yes.
Where they feel like, okay, it's just about, okay, how good I am, I don't care, whatever. Either you like me or you like me or you hate me. So I believe they would take cue from what you have said. Because when you don't have the right attitude, no matter how good you are, the truth is you're going to find people who might actually take your place.
Absolutely.
And they now have the right attitude.
Exactly.
So, thank you. Let me take you down memory lane a bit. Are there unspoken things that happened in your childhood that informed a bit of your life?
Quite a few things happen, especially when you're coming from a poor home. So a number of things, even when your parents don't want it, a number of things are left to chance. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Yes. A number of things are left to chance. Your parents know they would want to take care of you this way, but because they don't have the means, they just have to make do with whatever happens and see how they can curtail things. And one of them has to do with us, me and my brother, growing up away from my parents. You understand what I'm saying? Not because they wanted it, because my mom didn't want it. My mom beat the heck out of me just to stay away from football.
Wow.
But I was just that stubborn, so I was always running away. So it got to a time, hands up, you know. And then for Celestine, I actually went to escape with him from home, like an espionage kind of thing. Nobody was in the house. It's the truth. Nobody was at home. I said, oh, yeah, come follow me, because he adored me, because he's my immediate younger brother. So he adored me and he respected me. And no do any, leave that Celeo. Let me tell you one bad thing about that boy. Because I was the radical, right? Yeah. I was supposedly the bad one. I would steal in the house.
And he would keep for you?
No, he wouldn't keep for me. No, Cele. No Cele be that. I would steal. I would spend the stealing on me and Cele. But guess what? When we go home and the question, who stole? Cele is the first to point me.
After eating from you?
Yes. It got to the stage whereby I would steal. Because I get angry, when I'm about to spend, I wouldn't want to spend on him too. But of course, like I said, we're that close and I look after him. So I'll be like, you this useless idiot yourself.
After
if I give it after, The next way, I swear, the next thing you hear from that yeah boy mouth is, if they ask, I go talk, but if they no ask, I will keep talk. But if they ask, well, now you take them now. So that's Celestine at that time. So yeah, I think one of them things has to do with growing up away from home. You encounter so many things, especially in the streets, abuse. You understand what I'm saying? Abuses and a lot of vices, I mean, and that's why these days when I hear people talking about peer pressure is the reason I'm like, that's not true, man. I seen peer pressure. I grew up with people smoking weed. I grew up with people doing drugs. I've seen different kind of person. I'll tell you one funny incident that happened someday in Kaduna. I went with my coach, who happens to be the Babayaro, his name now. He was our coach actually growing up. And we went to the court someday. He had this case. He had this thing in court. He was always fighting, so he was supposed to be in court. We went to court, and while we were in court, I think when we were just getting done and coming out of the court, here is this hardened criminals in chains, hands and legs, being taken into that same court for their own session, with armed guns and all, with armed men and all that coming. And then one of them happens to be a friend of mine. Yeah, as I was just coming out of the court, if you see the how I take off from God, see my take off. My God, Baba don't see me again till I reach house. I said, look at this idiot. You there for handcuff, leg and hand. They call my name with fondness.
I said, both of you are the same.
No, because we're actually friends, growing up and all that stuff. So I'm just highlighting the kind of people I grew up with. And funny enough, most of them were killed, actually. Some by firing squad, sentenced, actually. Sentenced, killed by firing squad. While some were gunned down where they were doing.
And that helped you to say, I don't want to end up like that.
No, of course, absolutely not. I came from when my mother died, that's another thing. I wrote, what do you call that again? Is it eulogy? This thing, right? When people
biography?
die. No, not biography. The note, the thing you write about someone when they die, And all I said, it was just one sentence. And I wrote to my mom when she passed, and I said, thank you for introducing me to Jesus.
Oh.
Yes. Oh. Because that became the foundation of my life. Even when I'm doing good or when I'm doing bad, it's here. That's why I live by two codes, two principles. I've told you that before. To thyself be true. Seek God's face in all that you do, that you might have peace. Now, you see that part, seek God's face. It was that foundation that brought, as a kid, I come back from school, then primary 3, primary 4. I come home. My mom does not allow me to do any chores. You come back, she say, take off your clothes. Here's your food. The moment I'm done eating, she bring out those days one kobo. She say, Gawa church, that's go to church. She doesn't tell me go to church and do what. She just says go to church. Imagine a kid. And of course, I don't see one kobo now. I go to church. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in church. As well as be walking around.
Oh, my God.
I just told you. I said when I come back from school, it's every day she does that. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in church. Every time I just go to church, I just go. It continued until someday, some man saw me malingering about the church. A small boy come. I did notice you. You just did the work. Oh, yeah, see your mates. Go follow your mate, sit down there. That was how catechism classes started. From catechism, one of them days, Legion of Mary just formed. They need children. You, Legion of Mary. That's how Legion of Mary started. Someday, blah, 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 blah. We are lacking in mass servants, blah, blah. We need, this small boy, you. That's how I became a mass servant. So that was my foundation.
Wow. Fantastic.
You understand? So I said to my mom, thank you for introducing me to Jesus when she passed on, because that formed the core foundation of my life. Now having said that, so you see, it continued. So even while I was in the midst of all these things happening, it was there that is not the way forward. That is not the life. Because then I was already grounded in the gospel, in the world, in the word. You understand? So I knew, even as a kid, I knew certain things I can't do. You understand? I mean, but I think one of the strongest of them all was the abuse. Quite a number of us youngsters were abused. Unfortunately, it was a bit pandemic then. I understand even more pandemic now in the northern part. But now I think it's all over the country.
It's
But
all over.
back then it was more prevalent in the north. This well, without sounding homophobic, but it was this homosexual thing. Basically for me, I don't see it as that bad of a thing as in homosexual if you're doing it with a willing partner, with a consent, you understand, and a grown person, but not when you do it with children who have no say, or you understand, to what you want to do with them. You understand what I'm saying? So that happened a lot. Well, but basically everything I know in my life today sexually were things that were done to me by men.
Wow.
Yes. Everything known and unknown sexually that I know today were done to me by men.
And it was at a
very young age. I was probably about 12. And that continued. I think it probably stopped when I was 17. When you're getting 17, you start growing muscle. And one of the unique things about teenagers at that age is they feel they are stronger than anybody. So that was when I was able to
defend yourself.
You try this thing again, I go kill you here, that kind of a thing. But before then, this started from when I was 12.
Wow.
Continued down. I had men, because growing up again, some will say that I looked like a girl or something. I had men that were stalking me.
Wow.
Yes, I had some men stalking me back then. And their own stalk was a very funny kind of stalk. Like when we stalk you guys today is to find a way to get close to you, to date you, or to get you to. But then, don't forget I was a street kid as well. Those people that stalked me was just to see whenever I was going to ease myself in the bush so they can watch. Men, these were men. They just follow me up and down to see when I'm going to ease myself or something so they can watch. So I went through that. But you don't let that affect you. But it did affect me, though. That's another unspoken. This tea. Because you see, the unspoken they come out unspoken upon unspoken. Well, that's another unspoken, because I will tell you it did not affect me in terms of my orientation and my way of life, my sexuality and everything, but it did affect me also in my relationships.
Wow.
Do you understand? Because to this day, I must tell you, and it's always been a problem, even with my late wife, to this day, I don't know how to be the one
to approach
a woman, because I grew up as a youngster with everybody coming towards me, not me going towards. I don't know if you understand. Because don't forget, this was happening with the men. And then when I was becoming a proper teenager, I was getting a little bit famous from my football. Like a local champion. Kids will sing on the street. Kids will be singing with my name and stuff like that. And what now happened was girls were also now coming. So all my life, it was people coming towards me and not the other way around. I remember the early days. The thing almost cost me my relationship with my wife at the early stage. My wife, she's Edo. Edo women now can be very smart and all that. One of those, she was like, "Oh, but come now, what for you?" And every time me want make advance, me be the woman. I'm the woman. Am I supposed to be making advance on you? But I will apologize. Someday I had to come clean. Especially when I found out this is the woman, this is the one I love. I had to come clean. I had to plead with her, because that day, the woman para, she wanted to leave me. They can't go for my side, pursue and for street. I kneel down for center of my street. I kneel down. They beg her, I say, please, if you leave me, I'm done, because you're the best thing.
That happened.
She's not about happening. She's the best thing about me. That's the truth. She was the best thing about me. So I had to plead and let her know this is it. Because I would be with a woman. Well, apart from that first time, why you see that song why I sing for you now? As I don't toast you finish, you don't end there. You don't end there. If you think on walk, are you now your turn. Apart from that first approach, immediately after that, it's difficult for me to. I've worked on my psyche even at this day. To be honest, I have to be very honest about it. In my opinion, probably still the same, but less. Maybe 50-50 now, because at the time I can psych myself and I say, oh boy, you're not getting this piece unless you make the piece. You know what I mean? So but I was abused as a kid sexually, like really bad, like almost everything I knew.
Did you try to tell your parents?
Never did until they died, and thank God I didn't. We're Africans, I'm sorry. We have our own way of dealing with things. And whether you like it or not, I think our own way of dealing with things is better than the Europeans, because Sometimes me and my brother Celestine will talk about it because
Yeah.
we don't forget we grew up in the same place.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
though the idiot never told me if it happened to him.
And
But
did you
I
tell him
think
that it
we've
happened to him?
never talked about it that way. We
Wow.
talk about it that it's happening because we know it's happening. So we talk about it in relation with other kids. We know it happened and it affected them in certain ways. But guess what? We've
So
never
I
talked
think
about
it's,
it,
do
me
you
and him.
believe, do you agree
Whether,
that
oh
it's,
boy, then do you? I'm
exactly.
sure this is the first time we're ever going to hear that it was done to me too, because we've never talked about it as in happening to
Yeah.
either. But listen, I'm not stupid. Like I said, we grew up in the same place. So it probably happened to him. I wouldn't know, but we've never talked about it. But we talk about the abuses because we knew it was going on, and we knew how it has also damaged the lives of some other youngsters
Yeah.
that we knew
Yeah.
about. So we do talk about it, and a lot of time when we talk about, we always relate it situated with the European situation. We're like, oh, but some of those things will happen to us those days. If to send all these Oyibo children, now even as adults, they'll tell us things don't destroy their life. It don't mean,
Exactly.
no, but not us.
So I wanted
Africans,
to ask that it just like you said, it didn't affect your perception about life.
this
It
is
didn't.
me.
Yeah. Okay.
You've been working with me for a bit.
yeah,
So
we'll
you
go on
should
a
know.
short break. But I wanted to ask this: do you think is a boys' thing or men's thing for them not to talk about issues like this? Because we know is the world is trying to get the girl child to talk a lot more, speak up about abuse and all that. But is there a culture where the boys are not supposed to speak up?
I don't think it's a culture. I think it's more of do I say biology? It's more biological, because the man, the way he was created, he's created to take pressure. He's created to solve situations.
Do you think it's okay?
It's not. I would tell you it's not.
Thank you. We'll go on a short break. This is still unspoken. I know he's been getting a bit tense. There's a question I'm gonna keep for the
No problema.
for the for the last. But
Sure.
I know part of the unspoken thing. I'm not sure you and your brother have talked about is how you ended up with Babayaro. Knowing some of us know that you are Igbo. There's so I know you just mentioned it briefly. Do you want to just
Yeah, I
say
think
that?
we've talked about on
Okay.
so many other forums before now,
Okay.
but it's just simple. Well, it's simple, but to most people it's not. I mean, just like you said, because they don't know. I've seen several theories. In fact, someone that the other day, some months ago, wrote something on Facebook about my brother, how he ended up with the name Babayaro, and it was so annoying. I was so pissed. No, usually I don't even comment on, but I was so pissed that I had to comment like, don't write what you
You
don't
did not
know.
know
But they
exactly.
do
Ask
that a lot
questions.
just to chase clouds and stuff like that. Now, basically, what it was my real names are Emmanuel Hyacinth Iwoha. Celestine is Celestine Hyacinth Iwoha. We're from Wangele local government, Amibo in Imo State,
Wow.
originally born and brought up. We were actually born in Lagos, grew up in the north all our lives. That Babayaro happened to be our coach in football, the youth team growing up. And like it's normal. I mean, I'm sure it happens now. You go to a place and you hear that UTV crew don't come. People always associate a leader's, a leader with his followers.
Yes,
As in,
yes.
so it's the same thing. You see it even today, even in football, you find the bosses of clubs. Maybe a club now from Benue State is going somewhere. It's actually lobby, but what you see is bosses, Alia Boys. That's the governor's name, Alia Boys. Things. So it was the same thing. So we found that most of the places where we go to all those is, see those Babayaro boys don't come.
Wow.
Rather than our name, you hear Babayaro children don't come. Babayaro children don't come.
Wow.
You understand? Yeah. So yeah.
So you adopted it.
I was actually the first, not Celestine. I did. It was actually funny enough, from an interview like this. A man, he's still alive, wrote for New Nigerian newspapers. He was doing me an interview, and all that. And then in the process of the interview, he now asked me, because he knew my talent and all that. He said he's so sure I was going to be famous and all that. And back then, because I'm into rap.
Wow.
Into rap. Yeah, before.
So you've been doing music
before football, it was music. The very first money I ever made in life was in entertainment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was music. So I was big on rap. Especially then it was Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and the rest of them. And then I knew Snoop Dogg was not his name. I knew Dr. Dre was not his name and all that. So the guy in the process of the interview was like, if I'm gonna be famous and all that stuff, what am I gonna be called? Yeah, and then I said, I'll be called Emmanuel Babayaro. Because all my life has always been, I see those Babayaro, which Emmanuel be that, na Emmanuel na Babayaro own, na Babayaro Pekin.
Wow.
So I just called Emmanuel on that particular
and it stuck.
And it stuck. You know, for Celestine, it was when we were going to the under 17 camp, and you know, I said I was the one who told I said, you dey Chris, I dey go camp as Emmanuel Babayaro, you with my younger brother, you won't go camp as Emmanuel Iwo, huh? You dey mad? How they want to take no say we'll be brothers? Yeah?
Oh.
So he also had to adopt the name Babayaro to go to the national team with me.
Wow.
So that's how the whole Babayaro name came about. It was the man who trained us in football as our coach.
Wow.
You know, so yeah.
That it shows how much you guys loved him or appreciate.
We grew up with him. Yeah,
that he adopted.
We grew up with him, you know, eat and drink, sleep together.
Fantastic.
Growing up, and then he was, to an extent, he was promising because he was a core Muslim, you know, family Islam, everything Muslim. And we were staying in a predominantly Muslim place. But guess what? On a Sunday, he's the first to wake you up to say you have to go to church.
Wow.
You know, it never took the advantage to say, okay, let me get these kids to become Muslims.
Wow.
Funny enough, because we were so many of us, you know, quite a few also on their own turned to Muslim. But I'm sure it was based on that influence. But he never on his own forced anybody. So you give him credit for such.
Your parents, were they in any way, you know, against
with the name?
With the name.
My dad was alive when I took the name. You know, he was alive, but he died shortly after. So he was never angry, but probably he never knew I was going to be famous either.
So he just, okay.
Because I'm sure maybe if he knew I was going to be famous, or if he was here, when we would have like, oh, you want to go, you need to change. You know, an Igbo man. But he wasn't, actually he died just prior to our going for the under 17 World Cup. So right before we became famous, that's when he died. But yeah, he didn't say anything. But when we became famous, my mom a little bit was not too comfortable, but with the name, but she was comfortable with the wealth it brought. She was comfortable with the wealth it brought, not the name.
But not the name. Interested.
And by then, we also had our own, because we understood certain things. We understood it had gone into a brand, so you can't change it. You know how many times I don't try to change my own?
Wow.
My mind has to tell me, I'm not joking. They'll say, Chairman, you can't change it. Sorry. You change it, all this thing, where would they build? It will crash. Wow. Probably even UTV will not have me if I change it. So,
but you are right, kind of. Well, so you are still keeping the.
Oh yes, it's in KD now. The man is in KD.
No, I mean, up till now you still use, you know, in.
Yeah, my document has my real name, but Babayaro is still there.
It's still there.
Because now the document where Oyibo too don't see. Oyibo,
they are used to,
change something for your name. Oyibo go say, are you sure? Waiting to happen.
But your daughter is answering your real.
No, my daughter is me.
Yeah, well, okay, this is still unspoken. Now let's go to, you know, being an international player, making so much money, getting the fame. I know you've kind of mentioned, you know, that, you know, when we started,
made a lot of mistakes.
Yes,
man,
yeah. So you talked a bit. You could have spent money a bit differently.
Wisely, yeah.
Yes. So can you just talk about a few of it?
Yeah, it's just that stupidity, in my opinion, associated with lack of discipline, which was why I actually used discipline to cover up for a lot of other lapses. You know, I mean, I'll tell you this much. My friends who are close to me, I'm sure when they're listening to this, I'm sure some of them will like, this way they talk not true. Because a lot of them were eyewitnesses to this. Probably, if I was as smart or as disciplined as I should have been, with all due respect, keeping it modest, if I'm not the richest in Africa, I probably will be one of the richest in Africa today, because I had a lot of opportunities in life.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? But why mine is not too heartbreaking for me is because it's a mixture of lack of discipline and my humanitarian nature. I remember back then my mother would warn me, if you are not careful, you go end up broke like your papa. because
Yeah.
it's all
It
his
means
living.
that's why your father didn't have money in
Yeah, because even when my father is that person who will help you, and then he will be broke immediately.
Wow.
Like
He
he
will
will
give
help
the last
the
card.
last he has to help you, and he will get into trouble.
Oh.
And to be honest with you, that's how I am.
Wow.
I have this Reverend Father friend of mine, Stanley Shinkut, in the north there. There was this day he wrote this thing about, helping, don't give if you don't have I had to, even though he's a very close friend, I had to engage him, but inbox. I'm like, but Father, I don't do that. For me to help is to help. I cannot have it and someone needs it to survive, especially if it's life
And
saving.
death, yeah.
And I
Life
say,
and
I
death.
withhold. I can't do that. I'm sorry. I will give. I will get into trouble, but it means I'm still strong enough to live, to fight, to go and source for. But maybe this person needs it to save their life. So basically, when somebody wants something, I don't rationalize. I just give. I'll give you one very funny instance. Something happened. That was like 2 years ago. Someone probably hacked the phone of a doctor friend of mine, doctor here in Abuja, and then now called me, now sent me message
Oh.
with the doctor's phone,
Oh.
seeking help and needing help. And I'm looking at that message from my heart, with all due respect. God is my witness. I knew it's either this phone was hacked, but something just told me definitely
help.
not the doctor, because he was a doctor that worked in a good hospital, in my opinion, and he can have, everybody can fall into financial distress and all that. So I was doubting, but another mind just said, but what if it was? You don't want to humiliate such a person. Like you now, I can send you a message requesting for help. You're not going to want to call me on the phone and ask me, Ima, are you sure are you the one that called and needs?
I think I actually do that because I've been hacked multiple times.
No, but I'm saying,
but I understand what you're saying.
There are
Yeah,
certain
because
kind
of
persons,
yeah,
the personality.
Yes,
You don't want
yes, yes.
because sometimes it could also be humiliating, because
True.
it probably took that person a lot of strength to
True.
be
To
able
ask.
to be that vulnerable towards you. So I looked at it, but one thing I said to myself, I say, even if it's not the doctor, whoever it is still needed it.
Wow.
That's why he's asking. That person that is stealing your food is hungry.
Wow.
That's why when I see people kill people for stealing food item, stealing from your shop, and you're disgracing them, for me, it doesn't make sense. That person, it's obvious, is hungry, needs to eat.
I get upset with parents that beat their children for taking meats from the pot.
You understand? So I give. You understand? So that's how I've been. Because I lost a lot of opportunities. At one time, apart from playing football and making so much money, I was not investing. Those are the listening that I said. I never listened to my wife, because she would say, can we go and buy land? Can you start building? I'd be like, that mentality. Because I think mine also was delusional. Because at a time in Nigeria, I was probably shuttling between two national teams. If I'm not in under 7, from the under 17, I was boom to the Super Eagles. From while at the Super Eagles, I was also in the under 23. And you find almost every 1-2 weeks, one of them has a game.
Wow.
So it was like almost every 1-2 weeks, I'm guaranteed over $3,000 to $5,000.
Wow.
As a youngster, you feel you're on top of the world. You're thinking it's gonna last forever. You don't know it's not gonna last. It's not gonna last forever. Trust me. But that's what it plays in your head.
Wow.
I can easily give you this now, because I'm saying to myself, after all, in the next 1 or 2 weeks, I go make them back.
Exactly.
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I call myself a pimp, being a bad guy, bad sharp guy. My late friend, Sam Sultan, would say bad sharp guy. I mean, I've been in the corridors of power, courtesy of their daughters, though, not them. I like being honest, courtesy of their daughters. Because probably dated a few daughters of the people who were in charge of who were in power, in charge of the country, not even the state. Take it or leave it. People will come to me, because like I said, I was in the corridors of power, and a lot of the bodyguards and the ADCs and all those people who work within Villa, they loved me, because as a footballer, they knew me. I was always nice to them, and quite a number of them will come sometimes. Oga, my pikin, school fees, my wife this, my wife that. I beg, see this paper for this year for now my land for Asokoro, I beg. God is my
Oh,
witness for what I'm
oh,
telling you.
oh.
All I need is 30,000. I swear to you.
And then that 30K was nothing to you.
Exactly. God bless you for that particular word you just used. Was nothing to me. So guess what I do? Your paper, I give it back to you.
No way.
And I give you, God is my witness. I give you back your paper and give you your 30,000. I'll tell you 30,000 shouldn't be why you should want to sell your property now. Take it back. Here's the 30. So those are the lost opportunities.
Opportunities. Oh my God. Now I understand why your mom said what she said.
Yeah,
Oh
and my
my God.
wife too, so those were the lost. I had so many of them. The director of lands, and I'll tell you this now, once upon a time, anything from, I think from 98 and back, go check any CFO, you see the name Calgo. I mentioned it on TV, you see the name Calgo. He was the director of lands. He gave lands and whatever. Calgo was my very close friend. And because he knew I was in the corridors of power, many times he's been instructed, you need to give Babayaro. In fact, he will call me over the phone. When are you coming? But
You were just indifferent, like you didn't,
care.
you didn't.
Because I always, you live as a youngster, if you're not careful, especially when things are that successful for you, you keep living with that illusion, as in,
It's
and
gonna
that's why
last forever.
procrastination is, it's going to last forever. Okay, you disturb me, I'll say, okay, no worry, I go do them tomorrow. Okay, no worry, I go do them tomorrow. Okay, no worry, I go do them tomorrow. So a lot of lost opportunities. I regret them. Those are part of the unspoken for me. So it's been crazy. I had so many opportunities. Wow. Here in Abuja, even in Europe. I'll tell you another very funny one. While in the UK, I met this girl. She's Italian. She was a model. And then I started dating her. Funny enough, we shared same name. I'm Emmanuel. She's Emanuela. She's Italian, and when my contract fell through with West Ham, because I was in West Ham for over a year. Harry Redknapp was the manager at the time. They were interested, but they couldn't get me a work permit because I fell short, because there are strict laws that protect those things over there. So when it wasn't going to happen, and then another club was going to give it a shot, but the only obvious way, there were only two obvious ways. Either I was British or I was a member of European Union. If I had a European passport, then I could play in England as a European member and all that stuff. And a contract was waiting for me worth £2 million. Yes. My girlfriend at the time, Emanuela, she heard about it. She knew everything because we were that close. We're living together. And she took it upon herself, on my behalf, to call her parents, who had never met me. Just this morning, this phone call comes through, and a man with a big voice introduces himself as Emanuela's father, through an interpreter though, because he spoke only Italian. Introduced himself as I am Emanuela's father, and that the daughters spoke to them about me. I'm her boyfriend, and for them, you know how these Oyibo people, they behave. He says, for them, all that matters is their daughter's happiness. And their daughter just told them that in this world, that I am the only happiness she has. So for them, they will do anything for their daughter, which means in extension to me, to make their daughter happy. And the daughter told them about my situation, and that the only way it can be salvaged is if I get a European passport, and I can only get that if I get married to her, obviously. And that why she told them was because she told them that she's never seen a stubborn African man, a stubborn black man like me, that she's talked to me about it before, and I said no. She thinks they can convince me. So the father went on to let me know that lesson, he started saying they have the bottom line, they're very comfortable. He makes wine. He said, listen, my daughter don't need nothing from you. We're very comfortable people. As a matter of fact, we can have a prenup so that as soon as you get your papers, the marriage is dissolved, if that's what you want. There's no problem. Nobody takes nothing. But we're just after our daughter's happiness. And right now she says you're all that matters to her.
Wow.
I paused for a little while, and I'm like, I do this. I signed this contract. It's £2 million. But guess what? from where I'm coming from, don't forget, I was inducted into religion at a very young age. My parents, my mom, my dad, they hold certain values very strong. And one of those values has to do with the sacrament of matrimony, marriage. And I said to the man, I'm so sorry, really. I love your daughter, unfortunately, not loving her enough to want to marry her, because I've not gotten to that place to say I want to get married to someone. And from where, God is my witness, I say, and from where I'm from, we don't marry fake. I was not taught to marry someone fake, to say, okay, let's marry, make I get paid, let me get these papers, and then later. And I'm sorry.
This is what this younger generation.
I'm sorry. I'm
just
sorry.
running after.
I'm sorry. I wasn't raised that way.
Wow.
That's how I lost that contract.
Wow.
Yes. Because that's how I was raised.
And I mean,
my younger brother, the one after Celestine,
Yeah.
when he got married, his wife was white, British. I was in Nigeria at the time. Well, of course, they came to Nigeria for the registry, the registry, that's a court marriage. I remember calling him aside in my room. I said, come, do you really love this woman? I've never attended anybody's wedding before, and I don't intend to start now. But you're my younger brother, and she needs to see that your family is supportive.
Yeah.
We need to show her love. So, but before I do that, I need to be certain, do you really love her, or is it for the papers? If it's for the papers, I'm telling you now, it shouldn't happen. Only on one reason should you be married: if you truly love the person. And I only allowed it to go on when he said he truly loved her, because that's how I was raised. You understand what I'm saying? But the unspoken there is, my agbari make me no get £2 million. Remember, I'm a broke man, So yeah. And that when people are, when you are listening, I'm a broke man. So that's the funniest part of this whole debacle. I'm a broke man. It's crazy, man.
I don't want to ask if you go back to time, would you make different decisions? But I don't want to ask that.
Please don't ask.
Yes,
I won't.
I don't want to ask that. I don't want to put you.
I'm still me.
Period. And sometimes I tell people.
I'll give you another instance to let you know I'm still me. Not too far distant, the president of this country at the time was in a contest. That was election period. And one of the things he wanted to do to woo Nigeria was to show that he was a younger man. And then at the time, he was going to go for an exercise. It was going to be video to show that he was agile and good and strong and all that. And as I'm saying it, I'm sure it's familiar in some of you people say you get to understand. Some of my teammates, some of my brothers were with him to do that exercise. You understand? And I was called to join. And we were being paid. Some got 4 million just for a 10, 15 seconds, minutes video of exercise. How much exercise can the president do, for crying out loud? But I was called, and then I declined. And it was a very funny thing, The day I declined, this is the funny side of the story. I was actually in Lagos. And they were going to buy my ticket to come do that exercise. And someone called me from the villa, and he insisted that they said it was important that I'm part of that, because I resonate with the youth, especially in terms of integrity and stuff, so it would be nice. And I said to him, listen, I'm so sorry, sir. I cannot take your money while behind you I scoff at you. I said, I don't like you.
Wow.
I do not support this particular government. I'm sorry.
Wow. So
I will not take your money. I need the money. Now, after that, a friend of mine, a brother actually from the same Kaduna axis, you understand, called my brother Celestine and said to him, what did they worry this your brother self? Something where we go just do another just 10, 15 minutes.
I mean, you don't need to like them.
You collect your cool cash. What it concern you? Whether do you know what Celestine said to him? That's the funny part of Celestine. I say, because Celestine calls me division. He say, no division be that. He said, let me even shock you. This is true story. He said, let me even shock you. As I dey talk to you now, the idiot that referring to me, the idiot dey Lagos, he no get ticket to take come back to Abuja. Now me, he dey beg self. Now me, he come make a help am with ticket.
But free money, he doesn't want to accept.
He said, now me self, as I dey talk to you, now me want send that money for ticket to take come Abuja. Wow. But that's the person. That's how principled he can be. That's who I am.
Period. And I don't want you to regret that. I mean, that's
I do not regret that. I only just brought that up.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, because of time, I have a couple of, but I want us to talk about. I know You mentioned that you wouldn't want to talk about it, but
My wife.
yes.
Don't talk about my wife. I'm
I
gonna
know.
cry, man. I'm not gonna. That's the most
Yeah, I'm
the
not going to
most beautiful
focus.
human being on the
Yeah,
face of the
yeah.
earth I ever. In fact, she's not just a human being; she's an angel.
Angel, yeah.
As a matter of fact, we call her Angel Meg
Wow.
because she's Magdalene. Her
Before
name.
she left.
Yeah, that's what we call her, Angel Meg. She was the most amazing human being I ever known. Like I said, when we were dating, I told you she's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Now, that's the only human being on the face of the earth. If you line up my entire family on one hand and put her alone on the other hand and say, Emmanuel, choose one, in less than 2 seconds, I'm with her. You know, when she passed on, just 2 days after she passed on, my big sister left everything she was doing in London and came to Abuja, and I was shocked. I'm like, she said, I know how you are with that woman. You need somebody right now. She came, she was with me for close to 2 weeks, abandoned everything in the UK.
Wow.
Because she was everything, you know. My wife was everything. The clothes I'm wearing, even right now talking to you, was from my wife. Basically, everything about me, from the underwear. In fact, as I speak with you, God is my, if you give me money now to go shopping, I have absolutely no clue. Even 4 years after, I don't know. I'm still wearing her clothes 4 years after because I don't know how to do any of these things.
Wow. Really was doing everything for you.
My wife was everything, you know. So yeah, I really don't like her because I feel I let her down, you know. But a friend of mine who happens to be also like you, what do they call you people self again? Not mentors now, but those people
Therapists.
Therapists.
Counselors,
You know, she counselor. She counseled me. And she says, no,
No.
where she is now, you can't even let her down because she's an angel.
She's
not allowed. She's not allowed to think
judge.
anything negative to judge.
Yeah.
She's only just going to be there now to protect you and bless you and all that. So don't even think you let her down because I did, you know. So those were the things.
Okay, I'm going to end with this question.
Please.
I know, you know, the society, especially in Africa, they focus more on the widows.
Yeah.
Nobody even questions or
the widower.
How do you cope? What does it take? So I want to ask, how are you coping?
Trust me, without God, you can never cope. Losing a spouse, especially a spouse that you were totally absorbed with and in love with, having the most perfect relationship. Never. Practically never. And I'll tell you this, almost, well, initially the first 2 years, I think it was happening every other day, but now probably every 1 or 2 weeks, there's always that moment I sit and I start crying. So you can never cope. And especially for me, it's that bad because I also knowingly choose to walk in her shoes. Like certain things she will do, I decided that it has to still. I mean, for instance, while she was here, we never had any house help. For obvious reason. She said she no one go bring house help when she has her husband because she know her husband. The woman knows her husband, they like better thing. I know say some of those women, if they want go bring house help, you go carry house help where get shape. You are causing trouble. You can't allow house help, they will wear trousers and short things. You know, bottom line, we had no house help and all that. And I decided, and she was still doing everything. Everything was perfect. I said, I want to understand.
Wow.
You know, so it's been crazy for me. So the only thing I will tell anybody, and that is for me, is the antidote. Walk with God. Because God perfects things. He makes you, He just makes these things happen for you. Wherever you need that bridge, He puts on the bridge. Where you need that shoulder to lean on, He gives you that shoulder and things like that. That's the only way you can cope. Else you cannot cope.
Thank you so much. I don't want to over push this. You've been amazing. And I love your sense of humor. You have a way of just stepping down. I especially talking about the house help thing.
Yeah,
the tears were already building up. When you brought the house help, I started laughing.
And then real quick, even though you didn't ask it, but I thought I would drop this here. Could have, would have, should have. It's like a cancer. It eats you up from inside. That moment you need to do it, do it. That moment you have to say it, say it. That moment you should have. Be nice, be nice. Don't wait. You understand? And in terms of regret, I will just tell you what I do about regret. That's why I say walk with God. Because when you walk with God, He gives you everything you need to surmount. Now, when it comes to regret, The only way I tone my regrets down, in my opinion, that they are no longer regrets. They're only regrets when I talk about it here, but in reality, they are no longer regrets. And the only way out, and the reason is simple. I make sure that the younger ones don't make same mistakes. So whatever mistakes that you have done, whatever regrets you think you have, live your life through another younger person. So whatever are your regrets, fine. And that's why you see these Europeans, they do very well.
Yeah.
When something happened to them, they use it to educate others.
And even
so it shouldn't
start
happen.
foundations.
Yeah, so it doesn't happen to them. So I think that's one of the best ways of treating these situations of regrets and stuff. Having said that, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
much,
You
man.
have been
Thank you for
amazing.
having me.
So we've heard a lot from the horse's mouth, and I believe it's not just a story, another storytelling, show. This one, is packed with inspiration. It is packed with a lot of lessons. It's packed with a lot of motivations, a lot of wisdom. Also, he just said it. He ended with, could have, would have, should have. Do not postpone whatever you should do today. Don't postpone it. Just do it. Thank you so much for watching. Until we come your way next time, my name is Chichi Umesaka. Bye for now.